James Craig's daughter took the stand in his trial, and when I say absolutely decimated him and his BS story on the stand, we're going to talk about that and his super obvious digital footprint in today's video.
Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad, sipping from the cup at hey.
Now hold on everybody, let's do a quick sofa sidebar now. Keep in mind, ain't no cop, ain't no doctor, ain't no lawyer, ain't no therapist, ain't none of that fancy credentialed stuff, okay? Only credentials we got up in here is my sass, and this sofa. Now keep in mind also, I'm just giving my opinions on very public information, so do your own research, come to your own opinions, and drop them off in the comment section. And while you're down there, if you do like what you see here at the Sofa Squad, drop a little like, drop a little comment, drop a little share. It helps the channel out immensely. Now let's get edition. Hello Sofa Squad and welcome back to the sofa. It's a sofa. It's a Paul. My name's Paul if you're new to the channel. If you're not new to the channel, well guess what? My name's still Paul. Okay, we're gonna continue talking about James Craig today. Specifically, there's a lot in today's stuff or whatever. Main focus of the testimony and whatnot on day 3 is IT information, and his daughter took the stand and blew everybody's story out of the water, right? And then had some jaw-dropping news stories to tell about how terrible her dad is, okay? So there's that. Now, the victim in this case is Angela Craig. She was in the prime of her life. She had 6 daughters. She was married to James. James allegedly poisoned her. He claims that Angela wanted to do it, and so it was a game of chicken, right? You do the math on what you think is really real with that. Now, this is not being televised, so if you want to hear like coverage from people who are like on the ground reporting all that type of stuff, Lauren from Hidden True Crime is there, going to the case and whatnot, doing her daily, you know how she does it over there, her lives and all that type of stuff, and Lawyer Lee's doing the same thing, right? And you know how she does it over there at her channel. So you can get those textures and all that kind of stuff there. I'm going over Denver 7's live updates and using those as like the little skeleton for my little update videos over here. We also catch up on the trial pretty much every other day during the week and weekend on my podcast channel, which is linked down below. So we're much farther along with it over there than we are over here, because there's so much going on, right? So anyways, let's just go ahead and jump into it, okay? Thursday packed with testimony, okay? Tech talk, the daughter, everything, right? Now, first on the stand, prosecutors will call Bobby Olson. This is the lead detective from the Aurora Police Department. She's got like over 20 years in the force, and she was like what is described as the point person on the James Craig case. Okay, so her testimony though was very short and sweet, right? She's going to have way more coming later in the trial. Now, Olson obtained a search warrant on March 16th. This is the morning after Angela was declared brain dead. So during this search warrant, she got both of James and Angela's phones, credit card with the Summerbrook Dental Group logo, a hard drive from exam room number 9, that room where he was like allegedly buying the poison and doing all that crazy stuff over there, where it's like, why is he on this computer in there? According to Olson, James handed over the credit card and gave her the phone passwords very voluntarily. It was like, yep, here you go, there you go, do what you gotta do. Now, the defense also made a point to highlight that there was no court order that required Craig to hand over those passwords. And then Olson confirmed that accessing locked phones without passwords can slow an investigation way down. So one thing here is that the defense is wanting to portray he was cooperative, he was this. If he, did this himself to his wife, why would he comply? Why would he be so easygoing? So there's that. Now, next up on the stand was David Lee. He was formerly with the Aurora PD, and he's now with the Secret Service, U.S. Secret Service, okay? So he's a digital forensic expert, and he walked the court through all the devices that he analyzed, which was both of Craig's phones, a Dell computer, a hard drive, a Samsung DVR, and he didn't really get into all the details of the data just yet. Like, that's going to come down the pipeline. His testimony was more or less laying the groundwork for how investigators got the digital evidence, okay, like how that process worked. Now, the defense attorney, Lisa, would press him on the reliability of screenshots of text messages. And Lisa said, well, it really depends on what you're using them for, but generally they only show a small piece of a conversation. Now, Lisa also was like really trying to hammer in that there's no way to know who is actually using the phone at any given moment. And this is an argument that we see where, to me, this is like a technicality of, well, do we actually know who's in the text message? And I mean, you never know, someone could be getting shady or whatever, but I mean, a lot of times it's very obvious. You can tell somebody's nuance and writing and whatnot, but I mean, it is what it is. So next next up on the stand was Cassie Rodriguez from Midland Scientific. Now that is a lab supply company, and she would talk about a potassium cyanide order that was placed by James Gregg. And it was using the now infamous email, jimandwaffles@gmail.com. Not Jim, G-Y-M, J-I-M, okay? Now, this is the email that he did all his dirty work, and I guess he just thought that it wasn't traceable on multiple levels. I don't know what he was thinking, okay? But Jim and Waffles will be a very common name throughout this trial. Now Rodriguez would say that the Gmail domain was already suspicious, right? Obviously, okay? Now, Craig wanted to pick up the cyanide in person on March 9th, but the clinic, they're like, we don't allow pickups because, you know, it's hazardous chemicals. We don't do that, right? So then he later would ask for that order to be shipped that night. He was basically like, look, I'm teaching this seminar, you know, I'm doing all this type of stuff, you know, I need the cyanide for that. And so Lisa testified that she got an email asking for tracking info and another email complaining that the package never arrived at 7:30 p.m. on March 11th. Now, the defense attorneys would then ask how she knew it was James behind those emails, which of course she's like, I can't say that it was, only that the messages came from that Gmail address. So they'll take a little lunch break, they'll come back. Now after lunch, Ashley Donahue takes the stand. Now he used to manage a warehouse at Midland, and he would testify that James once walked through their parking lot wearing blue scrubs. So he was like, I've never really seen anybody like walking up or, you know, doing this, what he was doing, right? James Craig is basically like, hey, do y'all still have a storefront or whatever? And apparently, I guess it had shut down during the pandemic and whatnot. So Donahue later calls HR after seeing Craig on the news, right? It's like, y'all putting two together, like this isn't good, okay? Now next up was Darvin Harrell, a crime scene tech from the Aurora Police Department. And he would basically like walk the jury through photos from the Craig home. They're seeing pictures of protein shakes, the smoothie shaker, the clindamycin bottle that was allegedly prescribed by Dr. Craig DDS. Now, the prosecutors would say that Craig may have used that bottle to hide poison capsules. During the cross-examination, the defense attorney Ashley pushes very hard on what wasn't collected. No IV bags, no IV port from the hospital. What she seems to be doing in all this is setting up for the future of which the prosecution is going to come down with, and to me, they successfully will prove that he poisoned her at the hospital. Okay, so she's trying to line all this up, right? Now, Harold clarified that he only collects what detectives direct him to collect, right? After all that, then there was super emotional, super bombshell testimony, and this would come from no other than the Craig children, okay? Now, the prosecution calls one of Angela's kids up to the stand. We don't use her name, judge's orders, and whatnot, right? So we're just gonna say her daughter, okay? Now, she gets very emotional, even just saying her mother's name while she's on the stand. And she would describe her mom as very devoted, loved woodworking, yoga, bikes, animals, you know, all this stuff. And she was like, mom was like severely allergic to animals, but she's like, we still had a zoo, right? She was like, we had two of the ugliest dogs on the planet, the kind only a mom could love. She was that kind of person, right? Taking everybody in, the animals, this, that, the other, whatever. She sounds like she was just full of love. So Angela also loved genealogy too. And now her daughter was like, yeah, you know what? I mean, it was kind of boring. You know what I'm saying? We kind of like poke fun at her or whatever, but it was her thing. Now, if you remember in the opening statements, the defense would say that one of her daughters was going to say, one of her kids, whatever, that Angela was manipulative, all this type of stuff. Well, this young lady sets the record straight. She's like, my mother was not reckless. My mother was not manipulative. My mother was not depressed. She was planning a future. We even talked about fixing up a house in the South. And like Angela was very excited about being a grandmother, all these things, right? Now she would also then begin walking through her mother's symptoms and recalling them. Her mom being sick, dizzy, unstable, all the stuff that was going on from him poisoning her. Now, she said that Angela never figured out what was wrong. And she says that after the death, she said that she asked her dad to get an autopsy, like request one. And his reply, and I'll quote, if they couldn't figure it out when she was alive, they shouldn't poke around when she's gone, end quote. Now pause there for a moment. Imagine your wife, your husband, whoever, your partner, whatever, has been going through this, right? They're sick, you can't figure it out, it's mysterious and all this. Why on earth wouldn't you do an autopsy? Because even, so pretend like nothing nefarious is going on, like this legit happened, wouldn't you want to know, especially with some kind of medical mystery thing, like, well, we need to make sure the kids is, you know, some kind of hereditary thing, like they can be on the lookout for this, right? So this would be completely bizarre for him to be like, no, and especially to be so smug about it, right? Back to the testimony. She said that Angela would keep her struggles to herself. She's like, that's what moms do. That was her quote. Also testifying, I'll quote her again, she was a fantastic mom. Now, later, another daughter, like the third oldest daughter, would testify. Now, she said that Angela didn't let the kids like skip school or stay up late. She wasn't depressed. She talked about, you know, buying land, building a giant wood shop, going to Montana. So all these things, right? Well, then the plot thickens, okay? So this same daughter says that after James got arrested, he calls her from jail and asks her to bail out another inmate. And he's telling her, this is your cousin, Jonathan. Now, she's like, I didn't recognize the name, but like I went and did it anyways, right? If that's not bizarre enough, well, things get even crazier, right? So the man hands her a folded printer paper, like taped together. And it's a letter from her dad, from James. And in it, he allegedly asked her to create a fake, deep fake video of her mother, Angela, saying that she told James to buy the poison. Now, in this, he includes step-by-step instructions to buy a cheap laptop, destroy it later, use the dark web, prepaid Visa cards, make sure the video metadata says it was February 27th, the whole 9 yards, right? The level of work this man put into it, yet gets called at every turn. Now, he gave her code words. The candy was good meant yes. The candy was disappointing meant no. He even gave the project a name called the Memories Project. Now, her daughter said that the letter admitted James ordered the poison, but also claimed that Angela probably didn't kill herself intentionally. And the letter ended with, and I'll quote, "I'm sorry to even have to ask you for this help." End quote. Now, that's where we're going to wrap this up because I've got several things to say about this. Again, where do you even start? Number one, these poor kids, they've lost their mother. You know that they're like, what? Imagine this happens, your dad gets arrested, and then he asks you to bail someone out saying it's your cousin. And then when you get there, he's handing you a paper to get you to implicate yourself, right? He's asking the daughter to commit serious felonies, to risk prison for his BS because he just killed their mother. That shows you what kind of person he is. And then my thought process is y'all are like, oh, Paul, hello. We know he's a terrible person. Look what he did to his wife. Like, this is like, that's horrible. And then wrapping the children up in it is like the icing on the cake for that horrible piece of pie, right? So the fact that they're having to get up here and testify this, I cannot fathom what that destruction of the family unit would feel like. Like, imagine people who, and some of you might have lived through this or have gone through this yourselves. Imagine when you lose a parent to a natural illness, like all that goes with that, right? Like, that's traumatic in and of itself. But then it's like, okay, well, this is like, and I'm kind of looking through their lens at first, like, well, what's wrong with mom? We can't figure it out. Like, almost like a medical mystery type thing. And that's even another layer of tragedy. Well, then for almost instantaneously to be like, wait, dad's arrested? What? Like, I can't imagine that. And then on top of it, now dad's trying to get me involved with this. And so that's like almost like there's no doubt left. If there was like, well, maybe he didn't do it. It's like, why? Oh, he 100% did it, right? Why would dad be getting us involved in this? And now they're having to get up here and trial and look at their father at the defense table. I mean, it's crazy. And then on the absurdity level, the fact you wrote all that down, the candy is good. How did we arrive here? So anyways, that's it. If you're still watching, I do appreciate it. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And while you're down there, if you could drop some little sofas off, maybe some little oblong pillows. Heck, I don't know. For Roscoe and Spirit, Bo and Luke, and you, the Sofa Squad, so we can have a place to sit and hang out and talk about all these crazy cases we talk about here at the Sofa Squad. And until we gather down there to do that, I'll see y'all soon.
I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now, don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Roscoe on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hey, welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.